Scientists can now trigger lucid dreams by sending a specific electrical frequency to your brain at 3 a.m.
And we let them sleep until 3 o'clock and stimulated with different frequencies while they were having REM sleep. And then we woke them up. The interviewer read the questions to them and said, okay, now what did you dream?
Dr. Ursula Voss discovered that 40 Hz, which triggers gamma brainwaves, was the sweet spot to turn lucidity in dreams on. If you've tried lucid dreaming techniques without good results, this video explains the actual brainwave science that means success or failure with your lucid dreams. But, and this is important, it goes far beyond stimulating just one specific frequency, because you need a cocktail of the right brainwaves to get ongoing and strong results. In this video, I'll break down how other researchers connected these findings to what's called the awakened mind pattern, which is a cocktail of the right brainwave frequencies. We'll also talk about the 5 types of brainwaves we have, how to train each one individually, and we'll also talk about the details of the lucid dreaming study. After all this, you will understand why some people lucid dream just naturally, while others struggle for years. Imagine your brain as this radio that's always on and that's like sending and receiving different frequencies that control everything from how deeply you sleep, moments of brilliant creativity, but also how easily you're stressed out. It's all about our brainwaves. And this radio consists of 5 brainwaves, and the beta brainwaves, and yes, they all have Greek names, are the ones most active right now as you watch this video. The good part is we can learn to tune these frequencies to get deeper dreams. And now let's go over how each of the 5 brainwaves actually look and sound like, what they normally do, what problems like ADHD or anxiety we have if they don't work, but also what superpowers like lucid dreamings are connected to each one of them. Let's start with the slowest but longest brainwaves. Delta waves range from 0.5 Hz to 4 Hz. And when delta waves dominate, you're in deep sleep. This is when your body repairs itself and the subconscious mind becomes most active. And delta is also like our inner radar that's sending out waves. So it's also looking for danger in our surroundings, but maybe also we can find golden opportunities with it. So delta is also our intuition, which is a superpower by itself if it's working right. And if delta is off, you could be sleepwalking or have Parkinson's disease. Theta waves between 4 and 8 Hz. They appear during sleep with dreams and also when we are deep in a meditation. And many people experience their best ideas because of theta waves, either during a dream, before we drift off into dreams, or when we wake up in the morning when we have the solution for our problems in our minds. And if you have problems with theta, this shows up as bad social behavior and also having problem correcting our behavior. So I would say training your theta waves is especially important for people who are in prison actually.
Years of Kundalini, I can make huge theta, and I have some clairaudience and, ancestor memory. I can do that.
And the next brainwave actually helped us to climb up the evolutionary ladder. It's alpha waves, because they help us to inhibit our behavior. So if you're like running around, suddenly someone comes, you want to like hit them, the alpha waves help us to relax. So this is what helped us evolve from like reptiles, aggressive animals, to more social animals. And alpha waves run from 8 to 13 Hz. And they create a calm awareness, but while we are awake, we're not sleeping with alpha, we are awake but chilled and relaxed. So this is the perfect brainwave also for visualization, for soft meditation. And this is also super important. Alpha is a bridge between our conscious mind, which are the next brainwaves, beta brainwaves, and our subconscious mind, theta brainwaves.
If you don't have an alarm clock, start to open your eyes, and then you remember, well, you must have had a dream, or maybe a piece of a dream arises into awareness, is to close your eyes again to regain that alpha bridge, which is the bridge down to the subconscious REM dream state. And what will happen if you can stay in your alpha and drop back down into your theta is that a fragment of the dream will rise. You notice that fragment. Ah, yes, there it is. And then another fragment arises, and then another and another. And then you think, okay, well, now I'm going to get up and write it down. But actually, what you have to do is send it up to beta.
Problems with alpha can show up either as alcohol or substance abuse, again because we can't stop ourselves on like grabbing the drink and drinking it, but also anxiety can be related to lack of alpha because we can't chill, and also we don't feel so connected to the world if we don't have alpha. And this is connected to one of the superpowers of alpha, which is an open focus, which I'll explain more towards the end of the video. But basically you become less narrow-minded, so you're more open and become more one with everything that's happening around you, which is a really beautiful state to be in. And when I learned to tap more into alpha waves, this was for me personally definitely a game changer. So I really wish for you that you can also develop alpha waves. And beta waves, they range from 13 to 30 hertz. Yeah, this is our everyday waking consciousness. When we talk to someone, when we work, problem solve, that's better, and we need it to function in society and our lives. But if we like primarily in beta, we don't have so much access to our deeper creative layers. But if we have too little beta, this can be that we're super lethargic, slow, or even depressed. If we have too much beta, we have a hard time calming down. And this could be a person who feels constantly on and like ready to go and I have to go. They need to chill. They have a bit too much beta. They need a bit more alpha. And a superpower of balanced beta is that we can get into a flow state with whatever we're doing right now because we're like fully there. Now we come to the superstar of the brainwaves, the gamma waves. They range from 30 hertz to 100 hertz. We need them for moments of peak performance, but also for lucid dreaming.
Originally, those gamma frequencies were called Tibetan gamma because that correlated to the moments when the Tibetans were measurably most psychokinetic as well.
And gamma is the frequency of self-awareness, and it connects parts of the brain together that usually not connected in dreams. So this is super important for lucid dreaming.
Spiritual connection, love, compassion. Sometimes it can be mystical union, spiritual ecstasy.
But what if gamma is not working correctly?
All this gamma needs to be grounded by this awakened mind under it. And if it's not, that person's going to have some probably electrical issues because here's 50 hertz, here's 60 hertz. So this person can be very vulnerable to noise coming out of the wall, to computers. It's really difficult for them. And they're also going to be distractible, nervous, and unable to keep their thoughts together.
What she means here with 50 and 60 hertz. So in Europe, the electricity runs on 50 hertz, and in the US, it's running on 60 hertz. So this can interfere with our brainwaves. And we will learn in a moment what exactly the awakened mind brainwave pattern is. Now comes the cool part. In 2014, Dr. Ursula and her team did something that sounds like pure science fiction. This experiment at Frankfurt University in Germany tested if they could trigger lucidity in people who had no prior experience with lucid dreaming. And their discovery was actually mind-blowing. They could use 40 hertz, which is in the gamma brainwave frequency, to turn 3 out of 4 people, or 77%, into lucid dreamers who never had a lucid dream before, just like that. And the people described amazing experiences. Many reported,
I saw myself from the outside.
Or watching their dream as if it were on a screen. And the experiment was simple but brilliant.
Subjects came in for 4 nights, and we let them sleep until 3 o'clock at night. We did that because we didn't want to have tired subjects, and because REM sleep usually starts at around 3 o'clock. And then we went ahead and stimulated with different frequencies. From every frequency band, we used delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma, and stimulated while they were having REM sleep for 30 seconds. And then we woke them up immediately and gave them a questionnaire. Now, what did you dream? Did you see yourself from the outside? Or asking for all the qualities that we had earlier identified as being characteristic for either REM sleep consciousness or lucid dreaming.
And the results showed that 25, but especially 40 hertz, were the frequencies that triggered the lucid dreams. The others did not really work. So by applying these gamma frequencies to the frontal lobes of the people.
This is gamma band activation during 6 hertz stimulation. There is nothing there. Blue is low activation, red is high activation. And here, during 40 hertz stimulation, we also see a high gamma.
They created this kind of mixed state in the brain where it stayed asleep, but also parts of it woke up, which is a lucid dream, right? We're sleeping, but we're also like awake to it.
We have 2 states at the same time. Part of the brain wakes up, and that part of the brain is the evolutionary new part of the brain, the frontal lobes.
So there was only one problem with the study. People say they became lucid, but their lucidity was really weak. So they were asked to tell them how strongly lucid they became, and usually they only became like about 1 on a scale of 5. So it was a lucid dream, but like really not super strong ones. And I personally think this is because they triggered only one brainwave, but not all the others we were already talking about. And I think this is like taking painkillers if you have a problem, but you don't really understand what's wrong in the body. So you're just putting a band-aid on the symptom, but not understanding the deeper underlying problem. Because if our brains can produce these brain waves with machines, with electrical shocks, there should also be natural ways how we can get into these states, right? And this is where the research from the Institute for the Awakened Mind comes in. And they show how different brainwave patterns connect to different states of mind. Because what if lucid dreaming is not only about gamma waves, but it's about this cocktail of brainwave frequencies? And if they all play together like a beautiful orchestra, then your brain is in its full power, and then lucid dreaming becomes easy, but also very strong. And they found this specific pattern of brainwave frequencies. And this is a brainwave pattern they found especially in experienced meditators, in healers, but also in lucid dreamers. And the awakened mind pattern appears when all the brainwaves, delta, theta, alpha, beta, are present at the same time. And they create this beautiful state of being alert, but also relaxed. And they found out this is the same pattern when we have an aha moment, when we suddenly realize and understand something, when something in us clicks. And isn't that exactly like lucid dreaming? We're in the dream and suddenly we realize like, oh, I'm dreaming. This is this aha moment in a dream. And they found this pattern, this aha moment in our brainwaves. And you will see there is no gamma in this pattern, because when Max Cade discovered it back in the 70s, they couldn't measure gamma yet. So gamma, we can only measure it since 20 years. And that's why the people who came after him created new patterns that also have gamma in them. And the relationship, the ratio between the brainwaves is super important. So in an awakened mind pattern, the beta waves, our thinking, are about 30% of the amplitude of the alpha waves. So the alpha is much bigger, and the theta waves and the delta waves are also smaller than the alpha waves. And this specific relationship allows for thinking and intuition, creativity, relaxation work all together in harmony. Because often we say like, oh, I'm always in my head, or oh, I'm always only in my emotions. And here it's all working together, creating this super powerful state of mind. But what if some of the frequencies from this cocktail are missing?
This is the ordinary mind that you're going to find in most people. There's nothing here but random thinking beta up at the top, and then radar-like delta, which never turns off unless the person is self-absorbed and not seeking anything outside themselves. And the problem with this pattern, I called it the little me, an unawakened pattern of separation from self and others, because there's no alpha and there's no theta. And without it, it's just the ego up here in beta and the radar watching its back.
And researchers found out that
even in my other lectures, I was talking about gamma as a booster. It is kind of a booster to both alpha and beta frequencies.
And this would explain why Dr. Voss's research triggering 40 Hertz gamma helped turn lucidity on, because the gamma then organized all the other brainwaves into a beautiful pattern. And this, of course, changes how we should approach lucid dreaming practice. Instead of simply trying to wake up in a dream, we're now understanding what's underlying lucidity, and we have to cultivate these different brainwaves to become natural lucid dreamers and not rely on just a simple technique or maybe an electrical machine. So, how can we train these brainwaves? For the best overall understanding for how the brainwaves interact, you have to read Anna Weiss's book, Awakening the Mind, because she was the student of Max Cade and she developed his research further. And the meditations in this book will elegantly lead you from your beta brainwaves over the alpha bridge down into theta and delta brainwaves, where you will run into deep dreamlike symbolism. And the best book on pure alpha brainwaves, which might be the most important brainwave to first learn if you don't really have it already, is Dr. Les Femi's book, Open Focus Brain. And open focus means we are relaxed, like a lion who just had an amazing meal, and he's just laying there and observing the horizon, just looking out far in the distance. And now compare this to a hungry lion whose field of awareness just entered an antelope or whatever he likes to eat. And he goes suddenly fully narrow, not seeing anything else anymore, just fully focused on the antelope. Just think of your cat when it sees a mouse. So the lion then just left open focus, relaxation, and went into full beta waves, ready to go. And you can also consider these two things for your alpha studies.
7.83 hertz is the Tibetan singing bowl's frequency, and it's right smack in the middle of alpha theta where those healing frequencies are. Those bowls are tuned to that frequency, and you can really feel it.
Remember, the alpha is literally the Schumann harmonic, so you're literally phase lock with the Earth and the Earth grid as a way to get leverage.
And with Schumann, he means the Schumann frequency, which is kind of the Earth's heartbeat or brainwave. And it's a wave running between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere high up in the sky. It starts at around 80 kilometers in the sky and goes up a few hundred kilometers. And so this wave, the Schumann frequency, it's running between surface of the Earth and ionosphere. So the more time you spend outside in nature, you're bathing yourself in this Schumann frequency, the Earth's alpha brainwave. So you're naturally training your alpha brainwaves by being outside in nature. I think that's also why being outside in nature feels so relaxing, because alpha brainwaves are for relaxation. What about gamma? Well, since it was called Tibetan gamma, why not ask your local Tibetan Buddhist how to cultivate it? Another option would be to get a light machine that flickers in the same speed of gamma, because the flickering then entrains your brain waves, which means your brain waves tune to the flicker and they become the same speed. And of course, you could do the same with sound waves that are also running on gamma speed. But supposedly light is a bit more effective than sound. But a good option would be if you can get something that uses light and sound at the same time. And there are many machines out there, you can easily find some. And if you want to try a 100% reliable method to become lucid, watch my video on multiverse therapy, which is lucid dreaming while you are awake. You can click it here right now. Thank you for watching.